Good day, everyone. Today we are going to start the in-text questions of chapter 4, that is Principles of Inheritance and Variation. Already we have completed the previous chapters and we have now come to chapter 4. So, moving to the first question in page number 58, that is, what do you think would be he would have got had he self-pollinated a tall F2 plant? So, if Mendel had self-pollinated a heterozygous, that is F2 plant with, that is, if he has crossed the heterozygous tall plant, then what would he have got? So, when the parents and the gametes are formed, then we would get that 3 are tall while 1 is dwarf. So, the obtained ratio is 3 is to 1. Moving to next question, that is on page number 58, that is using Punnett square, try to find out the nature of offspring of a test cross and what ratio did you get, and using the genotypes of this cross, can you give a general statement for a cross? So when we see dominant features, it can either be heterozygous or it can be homologous. So what we need to find out is our parent is a heterozygous parent or a homozygous parent. So if we dwarf a heterozygous parent with a homozygous dwarf parent, then what will happen? And if we cross a homozygous dominant parent with a homozygous dwarf parent, so in the first cross, we will be able to get that 50% are tall and 50% are dwarf. So the ratio will be 1 is to 1. But in the second cross, we will be obtaining that 100% tall, and therefore we can identify that which is heterozygous parent and which is homozygous parent. So then we can say that when an organism shows a dominant character for a trait and its genotype is unknown, that is, cross is performed of this organism with a known homozygous recessive trait. This is a very important statement, that it is done with a recessive trait in order to know the genotype of the organism. So this is known as the test cross. Moving to next question in page number 61, that is, there are a total of 6 different genotypes of a human ABO blood type. So how many phenotypes are possible? So here it is stated that there are 6 possible genotypes. So there are 4 possible phenotypes, that is blood group A, B, AB and O. Moving to next question in page number 64, that is, although there are 16 squares, how many different genotypes and phenotypes are formed, and note them in a given format? And can you, using the Punnett square data, work out the genetic ratio at the F2 stage and fill in the data as given in the format given below? So there are 9 different genotypes and 4 different phenotypes observed. So according to the format given, we can write all the genotypes and the phenotypes by conducting the cross, and we will be able to get all this data, and then we can note down the genotypic ratio, which is 1 is to 2 is to 1 is to 2 is to 4 is to 2, 1 is to 2 is to 1, and we can write down the genotypes observed, and this phenotypic ratio is 9 is to 3 is to 3 is to 1, and these are the observed phenotypes. Moving to the next question on page number 66, that is, a comparison between the behavior of chromosomes and genes is given. So A and B are given, and there are certain statements made for A and B separately, and we have to tell what A represents and B represents in between chromosomes and a gene. So A states that it occurs in pairs and segregate at the time of gamete formation, such that one of each pair is transmitted in a gamete and independent pairs segregate independently of each other. In B, it also occurs in pairs, but it segregates at the gamete formation and only one of each pair is transmitted to a gamete. So one pair segregates independently of the other pair. So from this we can identify that column A is chromosomes and column B is genes. We can identify this because of the statement 2, which states that they segregate at the time of gamete formation, while these segregate and only one of each of the pair is transmitted to a gamete. So moving to next question in page number 71, that is, do you think that the number of chromosomes in the male and female are equal? So no, because not the same. Because in grasshoppers, the male will have 23 chromosomes while the female will have 24. We can say that because in the male we have XO type of combination, while in the female we have X and X type of combination. So here one chromosome is missing, so the male will have 23 while the female will have 24. Moving to next question, which is on page number 71. That is, how is the sex determination mechanism different in the birds? Is the sperm or the egg responsible for the gender of the chicks? So here we can observe that in birds, in humans, we will observe the XY and XX kind of chromosomes, but in the birds we can find the ZW system. So in the female we'll find ZW, while in the male we'll find the Z. So it is quite opposite to what happens in humans, that is the male will possess X and Y while the female will possess X and X. So here male will be the determining one in humans, while in the birds the female will be the one because it can either give Z or W. So here we can say that the egg is responsible for the gender of the chicks. So this is what we can understand, and that's all for this lesson. Keep learning. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more updates.